Good evening. Here we are, international break, and as you can see, thought we'd rep a bit of international football shirt tonight. My wife's going to kill me if I didn't put the old Columbia top on. So, welcome to another episode of the Come On You Spurs podcast. As you know, there's been no Spurs game just recently, but we thought we'd take this opportunity tonight to look at the season we've got lying ahead of us and look at our remaining games and see how we think things pan out for the rest of the season. So at the moment, we'll go through each of those games and tell you what you think. But first, I'm going to introduce my panel for tonight. So joining me, as always, are regulars. So Ryan, how have you been this week, my friend?
Bored, Carl. I've been very, very, very bored. I hate international breaks. I hate watching these pointless friendlies to see our star man play against Switzerland and Ivory Coast. I'm just bored now. This Sunday can't come quick enough. But obviously, happy to be back on the COYS.com show so we could talk some more football.
Yeah, definitely. And joining Ryan tonight, as always, is regular, bringing the energy. Patrick, how have you been this week, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good, man. Like Ryan said, a bit of a crackling or got thing, but yeah, like Ryan said, annoyed that this sorry, is it me? 1 second. Is that better? Or, no, it's still crackling, isn't it?
It's still crackling a bit, but we can hear you, mate. We can hear you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, annoyed that just as we were going to momentum, then we had a spanner thrown in the works. Just wanting the football to come back as soon as possible. Newcastle on the weekend, looking forward to that, and obviously I'm looking forward to chopping up with you guys. So yeah, man, bring it on.
Good stuff. And joining Patrick and Ryan tonight, making his debut on the COYS podcast, or second debut, I think. Definitely on YouTube. It's his full debut on screen. Jacob, how have you been, my friend, this week?
Yeah, I've been good, Cole. Just I mirror what the boys have been saying. I've just been bored. I only like watching England in tournaments, and then the only thing I worry about is we've got the momentum, and I'm just watching our players and just making sure that there's no niggles or no injuries. So it's just one of those. It's good to be on the show because it breaks up the international break for me, knowing that I can at least talk about what's coming up at the weekend and going forward as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, like we say, it's that horrible thing, isn't it, of international break brings along those worries. Son's gone hundreds of miles away, so we know he'll have trouble when he comes back with a little bit of tiredness. We're all looking at Kane and thinking, oh, God, please don't go down. We're looking at all those important players right now saying, now is not the time to pick up an injury. Please don't anyone get injured. But enough about the international football, because as we've said, that is boring, even more so when they're friendlies. So let's get into what tonight is all about. And we're going to look ahead to the remaining games we've got left in our battle for top four. Obviously, coming off the back of our first successive wins against West Ham, the last win, that was great. Brighton before that, then West Ham at home. And I think that West Ham game was a real big win for us at home. They've kind of enjoyed coming to our place recently, but that got that win-lose streak off our backs. So, Ryan, how big do you think that West Ham result could be, mate?
I think it would be bigger if we didn't have to take this break now. I think it would have been perfect to go into the rest of the game. Like I say, it's just all up in the air now with this international break, with, like I say, Sonny flying away to South Korea, Bentancur and Romero going to South America. They're all putting the miles in. But when a London derby should always give you the boost that you need. And like I say, West Ham are a bit of a bogey team for us at our ground since they've been coming to the new stadium. So it's nice to get the win. Obviously, they're always loud, aren't they, the West Ham fans? When they're doing well and we're not doing well, that's all you tend to hear from West Ham fans. But just to get the win, and a convincing win as well. Didn't watch like a difficult game. We had the momentum throughout the game, so it was nice to put in a performance like that against a decent team. They are a decent team. You saw that against Seville in the Europa League, and obviously that benefited us against West Ham with the tiredness and the extra time they had on that Thursday. But as long as we get no injuries now, no death injuries, no silly stuff happening, we should we should be all right, because I do think we've got the fixtures that benefit us. I think we've got the best run in. So as long as the lads come back unscathed, happy, ready to crack on for the club, then we could get anywhere.
Yeah, Patrick, that win against West Ham really lifted the morale around the club, didn't we? It was a great atmosphere that day. It was a really good win against them because, like I say, they're not a bad side. Yes, all right, they had the Europa League game in the week, but, you know, I mean, the commentators kept making us know about that game and constantly saying, well, this and this could go against West Ham. But we played really well, didn't we? And it was a convincing win in the end, wasn't it? There could have been more.
Yeah, it was convincing. And it's funny how the narrative changes when West Ham are playing, because when we played that whole Thursday, Sunday cycle, no one cared. And it was always against, you know, like when we had to play, I know obviously they played in the Europa League against a very good team, but we've been doing that for years and no one batted an eyelid. When we were playing Conference League games and then having to play on Sunday, no one batted an eyelid as well. So it's just funny how things change depending on how they want it to look for the, you know, for the respective team. But we were comfortable throughout, could have scored more. They were quite fortunate as well. I don't know how Mikel Antonio stayed on the pitch. He literally left an elbow on Dyer and he was nowhere near the ball. Clearly didn't go for the ball. I don't know how that wasn't looked at by VAR and he's given a straight red card for that. But yeah, I mean, the midfield, I think we just bossed all areas of the game. We controlled defensively. We looked comfortable. I don't remember Hugo Lloris really having much to do, if I'm being honest. Midfield, we 100% bossed that. Bentancur ran the whole show. And if you actually look at the levels, Declan Rice is a brilliant player, but Bentancur looked a lot smoother and a lot better out there than Declan Rice. So that shows how nicely he's slotting in. And then our front three was causing them all sorts of problems. So a really convincing win, to be fair. At 2-1, it was still could go either way, because obviously if they get a goal, no matter how well we're bossing the game, they're right back in it. But 3-1, game over, and yeah, no one could turn around and say we didn't deserve it, which was good. So yeah, really good win against a very good team, and also it was something that we needed to like really, give us that momentum and push. And it was a 6-pointer as well, so they're not out of it because there's still enough games for them to catch any of the teams. But really and truly, that's a massive dent in their run, and it obviously gives us that nice little boost.
Yeah, Jacob, like I say, it is a big win, isn't it? Because although obviously the international break comes around right now, it going into that on the back of a defeat or a really poor performance would have just kind of deflated everyone, wouldn't it? So although we're in the international break, that result kind of gives everyone that little spring in their step, don't they? Thinking, right, Newcastle at home next. So yeah, let's get everyone back. And now the top four push is really on, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. So, like, I mirror what Pat says, because, when Tottenham were in the Europa League or the Champions League, it was always like, oh, yeah, they're going to lose at the weekend. But for me, fair enough, West Ham were tired. But I also think that for once in a long time, if ever, West Ham have played Spurs and they're in the same bubble as us. Do you know what I mean? Because normally they're either fighting relegation or they've got nothing to play for in the season. So that's why it becomes their cup final, because they've got nothing going on for sort of 10 games. Then it's Tottenham, and if you beat them, you spoil them getting in the top four. You spoil them mounting the title challenge. So I think West Ham mentally, I don't think they went into this game like they normally did, because they're kind of thinking, well, we need to beat Tottenham, rather than, if we beat Tottenham, it's banter. So, all the excuses about the Europa League, that's what you got a squad for. And, if it was the other way around and we're in the Europa League, I don't think we'd be using it as an excuse. We'd just say it was a terrible result. But, yeah, we needed to win that because it's a London derby. We all know what West Ham like to do, but it's just as important as, any other London derby. They're the biggest games for us. But like we said, now we come out the international break, they're all cup finals. Every game we could be playing Burnley, Leicester, North London derby. It don't really bother me. I don't care how we play, as long as we get that result. It's pretty much us against Arsenal. United are still in there. West Ham, like Pat said, are still in there. But I just think that West Ham result will galvanise. I think if we drew that or somehow lost it, it doesn't matter. To be anything, we'd all be relieved that it was the international break, wouldn't we? Yeah. So it's just one of those where we need to just use that as a result. I know everyone's going to come back to after the team are going to be tired. Half of them are going to, the momentum's not going to be there as much as it would be if we played the following week. But I think, playing Newcastle will kind of feel that they're safe, and I just hope that the players can be remembering the feeling of beating West Ham and just take it into the next game.
Yeah, definitely. It's really key. I mean, let's start looking at the games we've got left then. And obviously that starts this weekend against Newcastle at home. So what's everyone thinking about this game? I mean, I've got this down as a home win for us. I think we'll go into this, come off the international break. And obviously that is touch wood that we get everyone back from that international break unscathed as such. But obviously the team is pretty settled now, isn't it? So for me, I think this goes down as a win. I can see us getting the result. Ryan, how are you feeling? Feeling confident about this game against Newcastle?
Yeah. Like Jacob's just said, they're starting to get in the realms of safety now, aren't they? They're not as deep down in them relegation areas as they were, so they're a bit more relaxed. They're obviously in good form as well, so they'll be coming a bit more confident. Maybe come at us a bit more because I don't think it really matters who we play, to be honest. Our approach to the game is always the same. The main threat we've got is the counter-attack. So if the likes of St. Maximin are playing and want the ball, that should benefit us more than if it's not. If we have the majority of possession, that's when we usually struggle to break the teams down. And we've obviously got the big man, Dan Burn, who's pulling up trees for Newcastle at the minute. He's playing wonderful for Newcastle. So it'll still be a difficult game. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but I think we've just got too much firepower up front. I don't think that in the form he's in the league at the minute, there ain't a team or defence who could stop Harry Kane at the minute. And then when he's firing, whether Sonny plays well or not, he's still finding the back of that net. So when them two are in form together, linking up, it's going to be a problem for anyone we play now this season, because with them two on form, if we had this for majority of the season, I think top four could probably be wrapped up by now if we had those two playing like they were last season, couple of seasons ago. But we've got them now, make the most of it, and hopefully we can start off well against Newcastle. But I'm same as you, Carl. I'm giving a nod to the home win in that one.
Good stuff. So Patrick, the last few times Newcastle have come, they have caused us problems with the results. But again, that as Ryan said there, that alludes to the fact that they've come previously earlier in the season where they've come looking just to kind of get away with a point if they can or nick something late on. The fact that they've kind of improved, and although, mathematically they're not safe, their form would suggest that they're probably the team that are going to keep themselves out of that relegation fight. I think they will come and be a little bit more open, and that should suit us, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should. I believe they'll come to play. Eddie Howe's not going to set up as a low block, stifling, defensive, boring type of game and just try and frustrate us and then nick one. They'll try and play football. They've got some good players in that team, and that will suit us comfortably. I mean, there's a perception that we're just a counter-attacking team, but a lot of our goals are actually played from building up from the back, passing the ball around. It doesn't work on one side. We start again, we go back, and then we build up from the other side. So we can hit teams with just more than one style of goal. And I think, realistically, we should be beating Newcastle. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I just believe that we've got, firepower and quality in the midfield to get the job done. So, it'll be a tough game. You've got to respect every team you play, but I'm confident that we'll get the win on Sunday.
Good start. And Jacob, how are you feeling about this game? Are you confident, given, like I say, Newcastle under Howe, they won't come and be that boring side that they were under Steve Bruce? Are you confident of a home win this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's for us. I think we'll win. It'll be a lot more cagier than we most think, but we all know that being a Tottenham fan, every game is going to be cagey. It's always tense. The minute the whistle goes for me, anyway, it's tense. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We're playing Morecambe and it was tense. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those where I think we'll get the win. I think, like Ryan alluded to, we got probably more firepower, and I think Newcastle would give it a go because if I was Eddie Howe, I'd be saying, look, no matter who we play in the next sort of 9-10 games, all we need to do is make sure that we win one and draw one, and we're safe in the Premier League. So they're just going to take every game the same way, I think, and just attack it, because whether they play Tottenham or they play, you know, any other team in the league, they're thinking 1-1 win and we're safe, considering you've got, like, you know, Watford and Norwich that are already down pretty much. Leeds and Everton are probably fighting for that last bit, along with Burnley. So they'll just be looking at it thinking 1-1 win. So I think that'll play into our hands. You know, we're a counter-attacking side, but then I think even if Newcastle let us have all the ball, I think with Harry Kane on form, I think Son going away on international duty might actually do him a favour, because fair enough, he's still playing football, but he's playing football for South Korea, scoring goals, whereas he knows himself that even though he's been scoring goals here and there, he hasn't been the same Sonny for us. So I think, you know, 2 weeks away with the national team, seeing his family and friends and that back in South Korea will probably do him a favour, and I think he'll get on the score sheet at the weekend.
So that's a full house all round then. So that's 3 points in the bag. Famous last words, as Spurs fans say, but that one should be all right. So then after that, we face a tough away game against a team that are kind of, you know, you don't know what you're going to get from them at the moment. And that's then we go away to Aston Villa. So, Patrick, how are you feeling about that one away? Obviously, you got Coutinho, you got Ollie Watkins to look out for. And like I say, at the moment with Villa, you don't know what you're going to get with them. They can either be very good or pretty poor. How are you feeling about that one away from home?
Well, I just hope that they do exactly what they did against Arsenal and roll over. So, you know, like, it annoyed me because I predicted that Villa would get something out of that game, because they are a good team on their day, and I thought Arsenal going there would be tough. You know, they had Arsenal had some players out, Villa had a full house. They were in decent form, good manager in Steven Gerrard, and they literally just rolled over and did F all into the last, like, 93rd or 94th minute. So I'm hoping we get that same Villa and we pretty much put them to the sword, because Arsenal should have scored more goals, to be fair. So yeah, Villa away, it's a tricky one, like you said, Carl, because they are a good team on their day, and obviously they got dangerous players: Coutinho, Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins, Buendia. You know, they've got players. Ramsey's a good player as well. They do have good players there. Their keeper, Emi Martinez, is also good. Their defense is questionable for me. I don't like their centre backs, and you know, they can be got at. But again, I don't see why that shouldn't be anything other than a win. Just as long as our defense doesn't do anything stupid, we'll win all these games, in my opinion, apart from the toughies, which we'll talk about. So as long as our defense is switched on, watches for runners, watches for, you know, tricky through balls, Danny Ings running in behind, Ollie Watkins trying to bully people, we should win this game. I won't say comfortably, but we should win this game.
Yeah, Ryan, how are you feeling about this game? What do you think? Is this another win, or could this be one where we stumble?
No, I'll give it another W for us, but I'm the same as Pat. I mean, Villa just, they were dead against Arsenal. I was confident that Villa could take points off them for us. I was same as the Palace game they've got coming up next. Arsenal. I'm hoping Palace don't do the same. I'm hoping they can do something. But if they give us a performance like that, then I think we've, like say, with Kane and Son, Kulusevski,
we'll kill them.
Yeah, easy. You could see 3 or 4 going past them. But I think the best thing going against Villa is if we get an early goal, because like I say, they have got the players as well. They are going to come out the same as Newcastle. They won't show fear because it's Tottenham. We're not like that at the minute. It's not like it was in the Pochettino season where we dominated most teams. But an early goal against Villa, heads might go down. The crowd might go a little bit quiet. Obviously, like, they're not playing for anything either. They're just pushing games away now. They're just waiting to get this season done. So I will go for another W. And like I say, I do see us getting quite a big score against them, to be honest.
Lovely, confident. And Jacob, how about yourself? What are you feeling for this game at Villa?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Like you say, if you look here on paper and look at the form thus far, you would say us, but for me, I'm a sort of fan that goes game by game. You know, it's one of them ones I looked at the fixtures and I sat there with a notepad just figuring out, you know, what sort of points would we get, Arsenal, Man United and all that. But then you kind of think, well, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, we've sat there with games in hand, and we're looking at it, and we're at home to Wolves and Southampton, respectively. And you're thinking, well, at least, you know, even if something goes wrong, we'll get 4 points out of that, and we got none. So it's a tricky one. But if we were to go how it should be, I think if we were to get a decent result on Newcastle, or just a win at least, then it just depends what Villa turn up, because they're very black and white at the minute. But I don't think it's anything to do with their team. It's just players turning up. You know, they've got Jacob Ramsey, who's arguably young player of the season. You got Coutinho, who's in and out, but we all know that if he decides he wants to have a good game, I don't care if he's playing Man City, he'd probably have a good game. You got Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings, who ain't really scoring goals. The thing with Villa, they haven't got many goals in them like this season. Like Ollie Watkins, I think, is their top goal scorer with 7 this season, and then after that, it's Jacob Ramsey with 6. I don't even think Danny Ings is. I think he's got 3 or 4. So I think if our defence keeps it solid, and you know, don't make any mistakes, and we keep the same sort of back 5, so they can gain understanding game by game, then I think with those 2 games, you know, whether they're cagey or not, I think we come out of them both with W's. But then it's Tottenham; anything could happen.
Yeah, well, I've got us down as losing 2 games at one point, and Villa is the first of my games where I think we end up dropping points, and Villa actually get the win. But those who followed us the last stream we did will realise that I tipped Spurs to lose at Brighton and West Ham, so that's not a bad thing. Me tipping Spurs not to get a point. So, like I say, for me, that's one of 2 games where I think we slip up and lose the game, unfortunately. So that's Villa away. Then we're back at the Lane with Brighton at home after that. So, Jacob, what are you going for here? What do you think about this one? Now, I've got this one down as a home win. I think we beat Brighton comfortably away from home. We then beat them nicely in the cup at home. And I think that will be a hat-trick for the season, where we'll get this win over the line. Because I think Brighton have kind of blown their bit this season. I think they're now just on the easy street to the end of the season. They've got no goals in them. So for me, I'll put this down as a home win. So, Jacob, what about you, mate? What are you going for, Brighton at home?
Yeah. If there's any fixtures in the ones we've got remaining that I'm confident that we'll win, regardless of the situation that we're in, I think Brighton's the one, because they put the season to bed ages ago. They're not scoring goals. They've got 1 or 2 players that will be having their heads turned. You know, you'll have people like Basuma be thinking, you know, can I get a move? Neil Maupay's been touted for a couple of moves here and there. They're not exactly, you know, top 6 sides, but it's a sideward step that might benefit him in the future. You got Danny Welbeck that, you know, 1 minute he's injured, next thing he's not. So I think there's a lot of animosity that no one really talks about at Brighton, because there's a lot of players that will probably look at it thinking, do I really want to stay for another season? You know, I don't think there's too many players in that team, given the season that they've had, that are feeling that they're lucky to be at Brighton. They'll be all looking at Brighton as a platform. And, you know, even the boss himself, Graham Potter, there could be a team out there that'll be looking out for him to move. So he might even be considering his options. So I think with everybody thinking on that wavelength, we've got something to play for big time in terms of getting Champions League football. So I think that if there's any game in that whole pile that I've looked at and thought, you know, if someone gave me Tottenham going to win, it'd be that one.
Yeah, Ryan, you think for the Brighton at home one, mate?
This is me. This is the Tottenham fan that's going to get destroyed after this, because I'm going for 9 points with these first 3 games. I can't. That's the problem. I'm as unconfident as I am confident with saying we're going to get 9 points out of these 3 games. I think the Brighton one shouldn't. Again, I think we've been falling very lucky to start playing it. Beside Newcastle, who are still in that relegation fight, game Villa and Brighton after that it is just 2 teams waiting for the end of the season, planning for next season. Just the only issue you have with them is this is probably the time where they try new things, try different tactics, maybe bring a different player in somewhere who's been waiting for game time, wants to shine. That's the only problem you see with stuff like that. But no, I'm confident in them first 3 games, and it could come back to bite me in the arse, or I could be celebrating after every win every Monday. So I'm going for the second
Nice. Patrick, how you feeling? Brighton at home, you as confident as Jacob and Ryan?
Yeah, I am. So it's a full sweep from us lot. So, Carl, you need to take a leaf out of our book and get more positive, man. Believe.
Like as I say, Patrick, the two times I said we'd lose, we'd win. So I'm doing a little bit of.
Yeah.
Well, you keep going, Carl. You keep going.
That reverse fixing. So no, but I think you know what, Ryan. Well, Jacob made a good point about the Basumas and the Mupes, but I think also it's the other way around in the sense of I get what you're saying, Jacob, but sometimes when a player like that wants to put on a performance, Tottenham is the perfect team for that. It's a big team, big stage. They know they haven't got anything to lose, so why not try? And I bet you Basuma has the game of his life, and even a Mupe could have a good game. But I still think we've got too much for them, and I don't see why we can't beat them. We beat them away. We beat them in the cup. I don't want to. I think that should be a win. It should be a win.
Big up to Danny there. Big up, Danny.
Big up, Dan. But yeah, it should be a win.
Another full house.
Stick to our guns. Do what we do best. I don't see why we can't get a win, man. As long as no one does anything stupid, there's no red cards or no silly sending-offs. These should be formalities.
Good stuff. So that's a full house round against Brighton. Then we get another away day at Brentford, who I think recently they've kind of played themselves safe. They were looking in a little bit of trouble at one point, weren't they? They desperately needed a win. They've got a couple so far, and I think that has kind of sealed them another season in the Premier League, which again is probably a good thing for us because again it means you've got a side there that are not playing with anything possibly on the line by that point. So, Ryan, how are you feeling about Brentford away? I'm again going for a win in this one for us because I just think we'll have too much for them. How are you feeling about that away at Brentford? Confident of a win there?
I think this one I'll probably have a draw in this one, to be honest. I think it's going to be I think the emotions might get the best of some of our players, especially if Eriksen's on the pitch at the same time. A bit of obviously Højbjerg against Eriksen, obviously the Danish teammates, and you've got the likes of Harry Kane, Dyer, who know Eriksen and obviously what he's been through. And again, it's another London derby, isn't it? They'll turn up, they'll have a full house, the fans will be desperate for the win against another London team. It's Ivan Toney's obviously started to bang. I think what's he got, six in his last three or six.
He's had a good run recently. Yeah, went quiet, but has come back on form a little bit.
And you know what, Carl? Most of these games we've got, I'm exactly like what Patrick is saying about as long as like the fear you've got in this team is someone making a daft decision, whether it's a sending off.
Romero, we all thinking Romero in this.
Yeah, Romero or Reguilon, those are the people for me that I look at, and there's always a mistake or a moment of madness. Like Reguilon pushing was it Antonio or someone in the face at one point. On another day, they could look at that and send someone off just to prove a point and make so just silly little things like that.
Yeah, it is one of that. That's the biggest fear with Tottenham. Like I say, we could be comfortably winning any of these games 2-0 up, and like I say, a Reguilon stupid decision, either sending off or giving a goal away, and set pieces as well. I'm hoping he's worked on set pieces this week with the likes of Dyer and players who have stayed behind, because every time we concede a set piece at the minute, I'm terrified. They might as well have a penalty, but I feel like they've got a penalty when they've got a corner at the minute. It scares the life out of me. But no, I think we'll draw with Brentford. I think we will drop points in that one.
He's gone for a draw. Okay, Patrick, how are you feeling about Brentford away? Again, confident that as long as we do what we should do?
Yeah, I might sound a bit crazy, but I've gone for another win here. And I think that, we're getting to the Leicester one. That's where I think we'll drop points at Leicester. Because otherwise I'm going like winning. Basically, we'll be Man City or Liverpool if I keep.
I think Patrick has just got a load of W's next. I'm thinking.
But yeah, no, I think Brentford away. It's a tricky one. I know Arsenal first game of the season. I know it wasn't the full Arsenal team, but they gave them a real good game. And like Ryan was saying, it's a London derby. They will be well and truly up for it. That's probably their biggest game that they got coming up into the end of the season. Obviously against a big team at home, London derby. a chance for their home players to see the likes of Son and Kane in the flesh, they'd be up for it, man. So yeah, just got to do our job. Nothing crazy, no injuries, hopefully, and yeah, I think we'll get the job done. I think we'll actually batter them, to be fair.
Confident.
Yeah, I think so. When you look at it, we should be able to put them to the sword.
Nice. And Jacob, how are you feeling about that Brentford away one? Is this a banana skin tie, or are you like Patrick and feeling a little bit confident on this one?
I'm agreeing with Ryan on this one. I thought that's the one where we'll drop points. That'll be the one where it would be described as Spursy. I can just see it because we'll go and win. Let's say we do get the 3 on the bounce, and everyone's talking about Tottenham this, Tottenham that, and somehow we're a point behind Arsenal, but yet we're above them. That'll be the game where Tottenham need to assert. It just feels like that'll be the game that we need to assert our authority on the Champions League position, and then we'll end up dropping points there. So I feel that we'll probably get a draw there. But don't ask me why. I just think it's just one of those where.
Is this an Ericsson
question?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, this is it. You can already see a 1-0 Ericsson, can't you? Last minute free kick, and you'll be thinking, well, better yet, if it ain't him scoring, he'll take a corner, won't he? And everyone kept going on about him not beating the first man. He'll beat the first man, and it'll be Ivan Toney, and you're like, well, everyone was talking about bringing Ericsson back because he can now take corners. But it's one of those where. I don't know. In all those games that we've just forementioned, we could easily drop points there because that's how football is. You got teams like Man United. You look at Man City, for instance. That if you said to a Man City fan, towards the beginning of the season, what's your verdict on beating Crystal Palace? You're like, Crystal Palace 3-0 light work, and then they ended up losing 2-0 at home because the man got sent off. So as much as you can counter for the players that you've got, and the form and the squad. All it takes is for a stupid error or a red card, and your predictions just pretty much go down the toilet.
Okay, good stuff. So now, this is an interesting one, and the one I was very surprised about, Patrick, you wasn't feeling that confident about. We then will face Leicester at home. I'm pretty confident of this game because I think, again, this Leicester side this season, I think at this point in the season, it's pretty much nothing to play for them. And we kind of know Leicester previous seasons, when there's nothing to play for, they really kind of fall off a cliff. So I'm going to go for a confident home win in this one. But Patrick, this is one you're saying you're not feeling too confident about.
Yeah, and it's no real reason other than the fact that I've put us down to win a lot of games. And at some point, just like with any football team, there will be a bad performance or something can happen and not go our way. Leicester are no mugs on their day. If Vardy's fit and Iheanacho's on fire, and Didi, they've got some good players in that team. They can definitely cause us some problems. I hope I'm wrong, but I haven't put it down to lose, but a draw, so we'll drop some points in that one. No real rhyme or reason, just that at some point the form will dip. We might drop a point or two, and Leicester are probably the best team out of the lot there to come to us and play some football and get a result.
Well, Ryan. So Ryan, Patrick's not feeling too confident. Are you feeling a little bit more confident about this one, Leicester at home? Where are you going with this one?
I think this will probably be our best performance at the lot. I know Harry Kane loves playing against most teams, but his record against Leicester loves playing Leicester, and hopefully they keep going in the Conference League. If they keep going in the Conference League. No real place in the Premier League to get European football. If that's their only avenue to European football, then, like I say, the likes of hopefully Ndidis and Vardy, who's had injury worries, won't be playing. Maybe Maddison will skip the game. I am confident for that one, and that's where I think we'll see Harry Kane get a bit closer to Salah in the goal charts in that game as well. I think he's got that in mind as well. We were speaking before we came on air, Carl, about Harry Kane, and he knows everything that's going on. And what is he now? Is he 8 or 9 behind Salah in the goals at the minute?
It's 7, I think.
7, yeah.
That's not. I know Salah's an absolute world-class player, and obviously he could score for fun himself, but Harry Kane don't want to finish that far behind the Golden Boot winner if he doesn't win it himself. So he will be craving goals. And the teams we're up against, like I say, the Newcastles, the Brightons, the Villas, the Leicesters, He
he can get doubles. And this is the thing. Before we were saying Kane's not scoring in bunches. He's doing that again now. So you're right, Ryan. He could have a field day in these games.
Yeah, and if he's on form, everyone in that team seems to suit for. He's like the leader on the pitch, and if he's in form, that just brings everyone's confidence up to a different level. So I'm going for a good win in that one as well, and I think he will. Like I say, I think he'll get closer to Salah in that game as well.
Nice.
Great stuff. And Jacob, how are you feeling about Leicester at home? Are you confident in that one as well, like Ryan?
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think there'll be loads of goals in that as well. I think it'll be very similar to when we went to the King Power. I hope it's not that dramatic, because I remember watching that at work and we was 2-1 down and I was so pissed off. And then I'd only just started a new job and the manager let me watch the game. So I just thought, it'd just be a calm one. So then obviously when Bergwijn done his thing, I ended up jumping out my seat. And
he's not letting you watch a game since, I assume.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, none of that, mate, no more. So I went a bit mad. But yeah, I think it'll be the same because I think Leicester have been on, it's been unfair what's happened to them because they've had Vardy out for a long time. They've had a lot of injuries in key areas, Fofana, Sancho. They've had loads of players in and out, and Brendan Rodgers hasn't been able to get a run of form, but then they're still in the conference. And I think for me, they're probably going to go towards getting to the finals. I don't think there's any teams there that are a threat to Leicester really, apart from Roma. And I think even, if Roma and Leicester got to a final, I'd have my money on Leicester to beat them. So they'll be concentrating on that. Leicester aren't the team that are going to play Tottenham and try and, beat Tottenham because they want to prove a point, because there's players there that, I don't think are going to be leaving Leicester. You've got a Maddison that might have his intentions of moving elsewhere, but I think he had his opportunity missed when he didn't really get the Arsenal move. You've got Vardy that's trying to, work towards the end of his career. Tielemans, again, is another player that realistically should be a better team, but I don't think he will. So I just think they'll just be trying to get the games in the Premier League out the way while they concentrate on Europe. So that would do us a favour, and I think there'll be loads of goals in that. From what I think, it could be 3 or 4-2 in that game, but I think it'll go in our favour.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, this is the tricky one, and again, this is where I see us obviously stumbling the second time to a defeat, and that then we obviously go to Anfield. Now, going to Anfield for Spurs has always been a tricky fixture anyway. But obviously, given the way Liverpool and the way the season's working out and how good they're looking at the moment, I obviously have got this one down as a defeat. But again, that could be a good thing because we all had the City game down as a defeat, and obviously one where it was just like, well, it's a free hit weekend. Patrick, Liverpool, Anfield, how are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I've unfortunately gone for an L, so I've gone for a loss. Just got to be realistic. Liverpool are amazing. It's always hard for any team to get a result at Anfield, let alone us. Our record there stinks. So it's going to be tough. I'm hoping that even if I hate to say this, even if we do end up losing, I hope we actually put a performance in and really push them to the wire. No shame in losing a game to a team of Liverpool stature, especially away from home. But also at the same time, I don't see why we can't go there and beat them. Guys have got to believe. If you want Champions League football, these are the games that you also have to get something out of. Same way we did against City, it's doable. So, I have to be realistic and say that we should lose the game, but I don't see why at the same time we can't go and get a result or even beat them.
Would you say this is one, Patrick, that a draw, again, a win is beyond expectations, isn't it? But if you picked up a draw there,
mate, it's massive.
Would be as good as a win, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
In a way.
The fact that you're getting points on the board and you're also keeping that goal difference level, because goal difference is so key. And I'm happy that our goal difference is now pretty much on par with Arsenal's, because that is an extra point. If things are as tight as they're going to be, that goal difference will come. So if you do get beat, don't get battered. And obviously, if you can get a result, as in get a point, and also keep the goal difference neutral, that's huge. Especially at it's business end of the season, everything counts. So it will be huge, Carl.
So technically 2 defeats there. Ryan, Where do you sit on this one? Are you confident given the Man City game, or are you like me and Patrick and you think, well, actually, realistically, this is probably the one game where we will probably take the L at Anfield with them chasing the title?
I'm actually going for the W, Carl, against Liverpool.
Oh, Ryan.
Let's go.
As well as toxic there, feeling confident.
I think if Liverpool lose to City, I think that's the title done. I think if they lose to City, that's it. I think the title will go to City. And I'm just hoping that they're the same as, like I said, Leicester. If they lose to City, then all their eggs are in that Champions League basket. That's they will do anything to stop City winning that Champions League, especially if they don't beat them to the title. And the last couple of games we played against Liverpool, I mean, the last game we played, we should have gone in at half time 3-1, 4-1.
Yeah, should have been 3-1 at least. Yeah,
I think it was last season. I think last season we could have gone in at half time. Bergwijn missed a couple of chances at the post against them. Now I don't know what it is against City and Liverpool at the minute. We do seem to put in 10 out of 10 performances, but like I said, it's always the same. Pat said it so much about these games tonight. It's their mistakes. If you cut them mistakes out, we've got the players to actually kill teams off. We've got players who can really punish you. And I don't know what it is about that game, but I'm confident for that win. And I do think that win will get us top 4 as well. I think if we beat Liverpool, the confidence for the rest of that season will be unreal. I'm going all out, Carl. I'm going all out for that game.
Yeah, love that. I love
confidence. Love that confidence. Jacob, are you as confident as Ryan, or are you going to bring us back down to earth right now?
Well, I'm not as confident as Ryan, but originally I thought to myself that we'll probably lose this game because Liverpool are a superior side. They're a superb side, and like their attacking options are mad. But I recently found out I might be going to that and sitting with my cousin in the Kop. And the last time I sat with Liverpool fans to watch Tottenham, we got a draw. So I'm going to stick it out and say it's going to be a draw again. I went to the game where imagine me sitting with Liverpool fans. There's about 500 of them in that VIP bit, and Wanyama scored that long ranger.
Oh yeah,
I totally forgot where I was, man. And then I literally went mad, looked around, and there's like 500 Liverpool fans looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, I totally forgot. And because they all knew that I was a Spurs fan, I got mobbed when Salah scored that goal. You know, when he weaved in out of everybody and scored, but then I had the last laugh when Harry Kane got the penalty. So I got a feeling I'm going to have one of those ones again. But last time I was in the VIP bit with I've got some executive ticket. But then this time, if I do go, I've been asked if I want to go and sit in the Kop. So I'm really going to keep my mouth shut. But I don't know how I'll do that if it's score a penalty. I just can't do it. I got chucked out of Wolves last season, so. Just one of those, but I think just because of that, I think we'll get a draw there. Don't ask me why. It just depends. Like Ryan said, Liverpool have to. If Liverpool win all their games, I was having a chat with my cousin who supports Liverpool, and I said, it's mad. If you actually win all your games, the league's yours. But they have to go to the Etihad where they haven't won for a few years, which not many people have generally. But it all depends.
Spurs, of course. I mean,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's just up there.
Normal procedures, isn't it? It all depends. I think if Liverpool are sitting top of the league, no matter whether I go or not, you probably think you're going to lose that. But I think if it's City still sitting on top of the league and Liverpool still doing the chasing, then I think we could get a draw there.
Nice. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the Arsenal game a bit later because obviously we don't know when that's going to be thrown in 100% yet. But then obviously after Liverpool, technically should come Burnley at home. Now, this, I can only see a full house coming here. I'd be very confident about that game, Burnley at home. Obviously, the last couple of times we've played them at home, we've really put them to the sword. I can't see anything different this season. Again, I think we'd just be too strong. So I'll be going for a home win again on that one. Patrick, where do you stand? Burnley at home? Too much for them?
Yes, sir. Home win again. Sonny and Kane to completely destroy them. Kulusevski doing bits. Bentancur running the middle. And I think even the fullbacks will have some joy with Burnley. it would be quite interesting because it might be actually where Burnley need to come and play. They might actually need some points. And if you need points, you can't sit back. You have to try and attack us. So I think this one falls perfectly in our hands, especially with like 3 or 4 games left. Burnley will need points on the board. So it will definitely be a home win. And Sonny and Kane and all the guys will be looking to really put some pelters on the score sheet and scoreboard really, and push themselves up that assist and goal scoring charts.
Yep. Jacob, are you as confident with Burnley at home, the home win on that one?
Yeah, by then, Burnley would probably either be down or fighting or safe. And I think it's more to do with the form. I don't know. I got this feeling that I did feel Burnley a few games ago that they'd get out of it, but I just think the dated football that they play, it's only a matter of time that you're going to go down because you're the only team that are playing that direct 4-4-2 old school football, and I just think the Premier League and football in general are just not allowing for it anymore. So I think by then, I think they'll either be down or need the points, and either way that falls into our favour because if they're already down, it'll just be one of those where you have your Dwight McNeils, even a Ben Mee saying, do I stay in the Premier League and leave Burnley, Tchaikovsky, all these guys? So they're probably take their foot off the pedal knowing that they're going to be staying in the Premier League regardless of a performance in that game. And if we need the points, then I think we get them because Burnley traditionally, even though they've been in the league for quite a long time now, they traditionally don't travel well. They don't really get many points on the road. It's normally the points that they get to stay up here at Turf Moor, and because they're struggling at Turf Moor now as well, that's the reason they are where they are now.
Yeah, and Ryan, are you as confident as the rest of us that this should be a full sweep? And could this be a game again where you see Kane looking to rack up a few goals to get himself close to that top scorer?
Yeah, I do. I think it will be another W. And also, like you say, something that we haven't mentioned yet is this goal difference as well. The goal difference is so close with Arsenal. So it's games like Burnley at home, you need to look at that, try and boost that goal difference. And I want us to thrash them. They need a thrash. After the defeat we took, and I also want the boys to put on a show for the fans who had to travel to Burnley the first time for it to be called off for snow an hour before the kick-off. I want the boys to absolutely thrash them, put on a show. And like I say, this goal difference could come down to, it could be a key part to the end of the season because I think we're on plus 10 or 11, Arsenal are plus 13, something like that. It's very close. So these games we've really got to not only think about the 3 points, but when you get in the lead, really, really dominate that. Aim for the 4, the 5, the 6. As unrealistic as it might be during the game, I really hope that Conte drills that into the players' heads just to make sure. Because it's bad enough we lost out on 4th to Arsenal, but to lose out on goal difference as well, that would be, I don't know. I won't be able to live with myself if we lost to them on goal difference. Never mind just losing out to them. So I'm going for another win and a big win as well. I'm hoping for 5 or 6 against them.
Full house. I like it. Now, last day of the season, away at Norwich. Now, again, they'll be down by that stage. So, again, I think right now they're planning for next season. So, I can't look anything past, again, another win for us in that one. We'll go round again. Jacob, are you confident Norwich away last day of the season that we'll go there and convincingly finish their Premier League season for them with another defeat?
Just depends what's happening with the top 4 race because that's the sort of, I hate it when Tottenham need to win a game on the last game of the season. We've been there before where if we win and Arsenal win, blah, 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 and then Arsenal picked us on the last day. So I don't want it to get to the point where we're in a situation where you're wondering what the players are there, making sure they elect lasagna and that. Do you know what I mean? I can't deal with that. I'd rather have the last day where, regardless of the result, we've either secured it or, worst case scenario, we know exactly what's happening in terms of us not making it. But I think, again, Norwich, a team we should be beating regardless of the situation. But again, it's like when I've done what you guys have done, look for all the fixtures and the amount of W's I've got on there just doesn't make sense for me being a Spurs fan. You know what I mean? Because I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it should win that 1 by 1 while the kids are eating dinner. And I looked at it and thought, all right, so Tottenham in the next 10 games are going to drop like sort of 3, 4, 5 points. I hope so, because I think Conte's a coach that I like how he's trying to drive the fact that we should take this as we should treat it like a cup and treat it as, you know, progression, and every player should take a stand and understand that if we do all push as a team and you push yourself as a player and we do get top four, or granted it's not a cup, but that's the sort of mentality that you need to have to go and win the big cups and the big trophies, because it's just effectively you're in practice mode, aren't you? You're saying to yourself, if I say to you top four is a trophy, and you go and smash out 9 wins out of 9, and you're beating Arsenal, you're beating Leicester, you're beating Liverpool, then when I'm telling you that we need to go and win 9 games to go and win a Premier League or a Champions League, that's what I used to do with Chelsea, Inter Milan, and I did it. So you guys need to pick up your mentality and show that a run of games and a run of, you know, pure determination, that's how you win stuff. And if you ain't got the determination and you're a little bit limp, that's where you fall into the category of being Spursy.
Yeah, Ryan, are you confident at Norwich, Carrow Road, last night, with everything they'll be on the line, that we go and get a win against Norwich?
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit tighter than I usually would. I do think they'll be down. I do think they'll be relegated. But the only reason I think it'll be a tighter game is I think they'll just want to put on a show for the fans. Last Premier League game before they go back to the Championship. You know, they'll fill it out for the last game, and they got a big team coming to play them there on the last game. They'll want to put on some sort of show. But I mean, I'm the same as obviously the three of you. When you look at the predictions you've given and you think, that's a lot of W's on there. But it's, you know what, we're good enough. That's the worst thing. We are good enough to win these games. Yeah, Liverpool tricky. There's a couple of tricky games in there, but we're more than good enough to win all these games, get top four. I think it's just, and like I said, I can't keep going on about it. Nothing. Pat has hit the nail on the head with that, where it is just us. We are the only ones who could ruin this top four for us. It's daft mistakes, bad marking at a set piece, things like that. You hope that they can sort some of that out, and the guys are firing up top. And I said we're more than good enough to win these games, and comfortably as well. Most of them. We shouldn't fear going into any of these games. Liverpool, they're a world-class team, but you shouldn't fear going to play Liverpool. A team that good should hopefully up your game as well. It should hopefully bring our big players up to their level. So it's going to be a good run, and hopefully, like I say, if we get all these W's that we're all predicting, then it should hopefully be Champions League next season.
Patrick, are you going to full house it here and go Norwich away is another win for us?
Yeah, exactly what Ryan said, exactly what Jacob said. This should be a win. It will be, I think pretty much these guys have got it spot on, hit the nail on the head. I don't think we'll blow them out of the water like 5 or 6 or 4-0, because they will put on a show and they will have some pride restored. Last game of the season, farewell to all of that stuff. But we should beat them 2-0, something like that. It'll be comfortable. It'll be a good win. And we need it. And yeah, I mean, I've tried to be reasonable. I've tried to not overdo it with these games, but I'm looking at them just like, if I'm being honest, these are all games that we should win. Apart from, I said Leicester, we drop points, and Liverpool, we lose. I don't see why we can't win all these games. And that's why people are saying low key that Tottenham should make top 4, because our running is actually really good. We've played a lot of the hard teams already. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't see why we can't. Everything that you guys have said for me is spot on, and I don't see why we can't get right there or thereabouts.
So obviously, before we play that last game, we will have Arsenal fitted in on these fixtures at some point. So that'll be Arsenal at home. So now this will be the one. This could make or break top 4. This fixture, couldn't it, at our place? I'm going for a draw purely because I think of what's on the line in this game and the way that will be the real tense that we have. And I think the ground itself will be really tense on that day. Patrick, you'll be there. What's your thoughts on the Arsenal home game? Where are you going with this one? Let's say I'm going to go for a draw in this one, which I still think will suit us more than them. What about yourself, mate?
I'm going for a win.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's got us 9 out of 9.
I'm going for a win, man. I know it's a London derby. It might be the biggest or tensest or most tightest derby we've had in God knows how long, probably my lifetime, to be fair, in the sense of like they're holding this off and they're holding it off and they're doing it on purpose. And this is brilliant for every football fan and every neutral and, you know, Sky Sports. It's brilliant for everyone apart from us fans, the Tottenham and Arsenal fans. But yeah, they don't really, I mean, you know, I don't want to jinx it again, like I keep saying, but they don't do well coming to our ground. The best that they do is get a draw. Our guys should be up for it. They know exactly what it means. Harry Kane loves a North London derby. Sonny always scores against Arsenal. The rest of the boys will be up for it. Romero will be up for it. Hugo Lloris won't let anyone slack. I don't see why we can't beat them. Conte as well. We haven't really mentioned Conte, the world-class manager. He knows what this game means and he'll know how to, you know, drill us. Dyer again knows what it means. Yeah, I don't see why we can't win this game. I don't see why we can't.
Ryan, how are you feeling about that North London derby at home? Are you confident again that we'll pick up the points there that, like I say, potentially could push and have a big part to play in the top 4 battle?
Yeah, I think we'll beat them. It's a bit of a back and forth with us and Arsenal, isn't it? I mean, they don't do so well at our ground. We go to the Emirates. We don't do very well there. I think the big key thing for us in this game is I think the fans are going to get us over the line in that game. A full house, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The boys will have to win that game. I mean, they blew us off for the first game for one player with COVID. Mikel Arteta has been moaning and whining and bitching ever since about the fixture congestion. Like they've had a free week every game this season. They've had one game a week. I don't understand how he has the audacity to even complain when he's the one who called the game off in the first place. His team, his club, called that game off. I think there's too much riding on it. I think their young boys will feel the pressure as well. Obviously, they've got a lot rested on Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli. They're all young lads. It's not going to be an easy ride in that game. The fans are going to really get at them. And like Pat said, Kane loves a North London derby. He thrives on scoring against Arsenal. Sonny loves playing them as well. We'll have the fiery emotion of the South American boys in a good way, hopefully. Hopefully, no daft. Hopefully, Romero don't crunch Martinelli within 2 minutes and get a daft bucket because you know if he sees that Brazilian winger on that ball, he will go full throttle for him. He don't care. He's not bothered. So hopefully. Hey, win the ball, take him out after. As long as you win the ball and don't get booked, it's fine with that. But no, I think Patrick, the rest of the men, women, children in that stadium are going to really drag us over the line in that one.
Yeah, you know what? Sorry, Carl. Just to add on to what Ryan said. First game of the season when Kane wasn't playing against Man City, the roar and the feel and the buzz in the stadium, it's probably the most passionate I've felt it. And I think it will be the same when we play Arsenal as well. So that will be the 12th man. And I think that will really help us as well. So, yeah, that's a great point from Ryan there.
Yeah. Jacob, are you confident in this one at home, the North London derby? Do you think there's any possibility that, given the fact that where the two sides are, that there could be nerves kicking or could you see a stumble in this one?
Yeah, anything. It's an North London derby. Like for me, I'm not even putting my Tottenham hat on. It's the best game in the league. I don't care what nobody says. You know, it's like you'll get a Liverpool derby, Manchester derby, Liverpool United, Chelsea, West Ham. There's never a boring NLD ever. Like you'll never get a 0-0 in that game. So, but I'm going for the win on that. I always do at home. I'll just feel confident that we'll do. You know, that's the only game in the calendar where I can't be indoors. I can't be, man. I've got to get out because, you know, I mean, neighbours will start thinking I'm doing something to my family and that because I just go a bit mad. But do you know what I mean? It's just I can't stand them. But yeah, I'm confident in that. I just think Arsenal are a good side. You know, I'm not one of these Tottenham fans that will sit there and go because they're Arsenal, they're crap. They're not, because the youngsters are good. But I just think in that game, it's all going to be about the mentality. You know, you've got your Kanes, your Sons. You know, Lloris, they've all been there and done it in North London derbies that matter, whereas a lot of Arsenal players haven't. You know, you've got Xhaka and you've got Lacazette that have been there, but they're not really the players that are carrying the fight for Arsenal. It's the young lads. So, you know, it'll be a tough game. It's just one of those where, you know, your heart goes mad over those games, but I'm confident that we'll beat Arsenal. I'll to be honest, I wish we was playing them tomorrow. Forget all the other games. Just get Arsenal played right now.
I'm loving the confidence. I'm loving the confidence. So that would be all the fixtures. Now I've got us on my predictions. I'm going for we'll end up with 70 points at the end of the season, and I think we nick that top 4 by a point. Patrick, are we finishing top 4? Are we nicking it?
Yeah, I've got us on 73 points. I put us as 4th. I didn't even calculate what the other guys will get, but I think with 73 points we get top 4. So yeah, I think we get there as well. I do.
Nice one. Ryan, are you with your predictions backing us to pit them for top 4?
I think we'll have it wrapped up by the Norwich game. I don't think I can see them dropping points. I can't even see Arsenal beating Palace on Monday. I think Patrick Vieira's got his team playing really good football at the minute. They've got Zaha, who's playing well. Michael Elise looks like a right good young player at the minute. He's loving his football. I don't think they'll beat them. I don't think they'll beat Chelsea in the other game in hand. I'm sure they've still got to play Man United as well, which if they're still chasing,
United,
yeah, that's a huge game for them as well. Yeah, I think come the Norwich game, I think we'll have it wrapped up.
Jacob, where do you see us landing?
I did it. I did both of them. So I sat there with a notepad while I was having my dinner, and I had both teams on 73 points. So I was just like, end of the day, what Ryan said about goal difference, that's going to be important. And you know, as soon as I saw 73 points each, I looked at the goal difference, and I think their goal difference is higher than ours by 2. So I was just you know, when you're playing Norwich, you know, whenever you play anybody, we've kind of got to be cautious, but go for the jugular, because Arsenal have got goals in them, but they're not really blowing teams away. And when they're scoring 3 goals, they're conceding. You know, when they played Watford, they scored 3 goals, they absolutely battered them, but still conceded 2 goals. So when we've kept quite a few clean sheets recently, to be fair. And we beat West Ham convincingly, Leeds, Everton. So I think if we can continue that same vein with Harry Kane scoring, Son, Kuzelewski chipping in with the odd goal.
Own goals.
Yeah, own goal. Yeah, what a signing. You know, he's been a great player for us. Yeah, I think no matter what, I'm quietly confident. You know, I sat there with one of my best mates when I went back down south this weekend, and the first thing he said to me once we had a beer in our hand is like, "What do you reckon?" And he supports Arsenal, and we've had our rivalry since we were both 9 years old. I've never been overly confident most of the time, but I just sat there with him saying, you know what, I actually think we're going to do it. And I think I caught him off guard. I just think we're going to do it. I think those fixtures, we've just got to sort them out. And I think if it was the days of Martin Yole and we had those fixtures, yeah, but because I think the extra beef that we've got is Conte. Like, Conte is not going to allow us to play Brighton and get a draw. I think them days are behind us.
Yeah, I think their fixtures that they've got cause them a problem. I think, and I think that just helps us with the fixtures we've got and the home games we got there. And I think it's like as we spoke with Mickey Hazard the previous week, wasn't it? They are games where we're going to have to show a bit of a ruthless streak and try and go for the jugular just to get that goal difference back on in our favour rather than theirs. But like I say, I think it's good to see that we're all quietly confident that we can get this top 4 over the line. Now, obviously, all of what we've spoke about starts this weekend. So we'll be back on Monday, and hopefully, if we're all right, and I tell you what, we'll get all 4 of us back on Monday. Jacob, are you up for Monday?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right, so all 4 of us will come back. This will be the first game after our predictions. Now, we've all gone for a home win. So we'll all come back Monday and hopefully be chatting about that first home win, and we'll set ourselves on our way for that top 4. So we're going to leave it there tonight. I just want to do the last honours and thank my guests. So, Jacob, just want to say sterling debut, second debut, mate. And obviously looking forward to seeing you on Monday and hopefully talking about that one of those first W's that we've all put on our list.
Thankfully, yes, mate. 100%. And it's good, man. It's good to have my debut on YouTube. You know, Ryan knows, Pat knows, I've been with them before, and it's just, you know, you can wake me up at any. You can wake me up in the middle of the night and ask me a Tottenham question. I'll answer it and go back to bed. So, you know what I mean?
That's
how I am, man. You know what I mean? I just like when it comes to Tottenham and football, it's just I live and breathe it. So anytime you want me on the show, mate, I'm all ears.
Perfect, mate. And again, just to say thanks to the two regulars, Patrick. Perfect run out again tonight, mate, and looking forward for Monday.
Yeah, loving it, man. Loving the fact that I'm back with you boys, and also literally countdown to the weekend now. So, you know, Premier League football can't come back soon enough, man. And I just need Kane, Son, Kulicheski, Bentancur, Romero, Hugo, all back, fit, ready. Ben Davis left the Wales squad to come back and train with the boys, which is really good news.
He's back.
So, yeah, we just need that mentality, and just focus on the job, take each game as it comes. I know these are cliches, but it's there, man. It's in our grasp. It's right there. We just need to do what we need to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect stuff, mate. We'll hopefully be talking and bringing that energy Monday. And Ryan, hopefully you'll be joining us Monday to discuss a win.
Oh, hopefully, like I say, we've all set it up now. They can't let us down now. It's on YouTube now, and I mean, before me and Jacob, on the Friday show we do together, we've got Mark on there. I mean, he predicts 38 wins a season. He's the most positive. So
He definitely does.
To hear all these predictions tonight, it will be in fine form for us on Friday. So let's just hope that the boys don't let us down. Like Pat said, one game at a time. That's all they've got to focus on. Get the W's, keep moving on. If Arsenal drop points, don't worry about them. Just keep focusing on us. Take it game by game. And we're good enough. We're good enough to do it. We've got the squad. We've got the main man in Harry Kane. I'm hoping there shouldn't be a problem now.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Brilliant. Now, given everything we discussed tonight, anything but a win, you might not see us Monday. We will definitely be back Monday. Appreciate everyone in the comments. Toxic. Excellent stuff, mate. We'll catch you guys on Monday. And last thing to say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.